back to Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. So we finished the first game and Justice for All, and now we're on the third game in the trilogy. That's why it's called a trilogy. Let's see. Oh, no, not continue, actually. You have to press new game. New game. Ace Attorney, Justice for All, and now Trials and Tribulations. There's no fourth game, it's just the third one. So this is the last one. Alright, let's go. Episode 1, Turnabout Memories. Huff huff? Arg, how did I get into this mess? It starts with a murder once again. Why? Why did I do that? That girl, you shouldn't see her anymore. Hey, it's none of your business. I'm telling you for your sake. If you continue to see her, it's gonna be bad news. You're lying! Just listen to me. There's something you need to know about that girl. Okay. Stop it! Objection! Don't talk about her like that. Okay, that was Phoenix talking to somebody, Leon from Resident Evil 4. And he's wearing a pink shirt. It wasn't me. I didn't... He still had spiky hair back then, I guess. I didn't do it. And 5 years earlier. Mia Fey. Second trial. Okay, so I mean, yeah, this is like in the past. I mean, we didn't really see Phoenix in his like typical blue suit, so what's going on? It was finally time. I'm kind of nervous. It's you. You have a different color suit. Oh, Mr. Grossberg. Good morning.
Yeah. Please calm yourself down. You're going to get yourself arrested for suspicious behavior, you know.
What are you talking about? I am relaxed, Mr. Grossberg. Let me. I'm relaxed.
Let go of my lapels.
Or lapels? 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 Lapels. That's how you say it. I think I pronounced lapels wrong before. It's lapels. Anyway.
You obviously haven't got the temperament to be a lawyer.
I'm so sorry. It's just I'm so nervous today.
That's right. This is your first time in the big leagues, isn't it? Well, never fear, never you fear, my dear. I, Marvin Grossberg, am at your service. Ignore the fact that I ruin your family name later down the line.
Actually, this is my second time in court. Yeah, we saw on the first subtitle, it said second trial.
Still, you surprised me. What of your earnest request last night? Let me handle this case, you suddenly said. Quite forcefully, too.
Well, I just found out yesterday. About the case, I mean.
What? And you've already learned all the relevant facts?
Did we? Well, here's the court record. We have the attorney's badge. The first and last time awarded was a year ago. Doug's autopsy report on April 9th. April 9th on 3 o'clock p.m. Cause of death was a fatal electric shock. Marvin Grossberg, your mentor. Here you go, Phoenix Wright, age 21. So, I mean, he was 24 in the beginning of the first game, right? So, it's just like, yeah, 3 years ago. That makes sense. Third year art student. He's an art student at every university. Apparently has a code. Wearing a little mask. You know, I don't know. It's more prevalent, I feel like, in Japan, or at least, I don't know. Maybe Asian countries? Well, maybe Japan. I'm not sure, actually. To wear the little mask, you know, to stop yourself from what do you call it? Infecting other people with your cold. I feel like it's not as common in the other countries, you know? I feel like, I don't know if it's Japan only, but I assume maybe other countries with like a dense population probably have that sort of cultural thing where you wear the mask, you know? Otherwise, it's not very all that common anywhere else, I feel like. Age 22, Doug swallows the victim for your pharmacology? How you say that? Pharmacology? Pharmacology. And Phoenix Wright's girlfriend. dated the victim Doug up until 8 months ago. Ex-boyfriend? Phoenix being jealous? Killed ex-boyfriend? I didn't know Phoenix was such a criminal. Well, about that, you see, I mean, of course I have, I think.
Oh dear. In many cases, don't let your client see you're so nervous. You see that poor young man in the pink sweater over there? That's our client.
It's Phoenix. Good morning there, everybody. Good morning. Try to keep smiling, Mia. I just want to say I'll give it my all I've got. Yep, it'll be fine, no problem. Achoo. Yeah, everyone seems to have their gimmick. I guess like Phoenix's gimmick is the fact that he has a cold, so he's gonna sneeze and cough all the way through this trial, I guess. What's wrong? Do you have a cold or something, Mr. Wright? Actually, it's Wright. Like the Flying Brothers. People screw it up all the time. The Wright Brothers. I never put that two and two together. And yes, I have a cold. That's what this mask is for. My doc says this way I won't give it to anyone else. Be kind to others, he says. Right, Mr. Wright. You have nothing to fear in court today. If you are truly innocent, I promise I will save you. Please, let go of my shirt. Cough. Well, that's right. He's the one on trial, not you. He's the one who should be nervous. You need to stay strong for your client, Mia. My name is Mia Fey. I'm still pretty new at this lawyer thing. Oh, okay. The first time I appeared in court was a year ago. So yeah, I mean, we're playing as Mia. But that trial traumatized me so badly, I thought I never set foot in another courtroom. Something that happened a year ago? So 4 years ago something happened? It's been 1 year since then, and well, here am I again. Or at least, well, 5 years technically, I guess, if you're counting the timeline from Justice for All. I don't know, we're kinda like going back and forth now. But this time, I'm going to win. For my client, and for myself. P. In a heart.
Court is now in session for the trial of Phoenix Wright.
The defense is ready, Your Honor. Okay, here's Payne, I guess. Winston Payne. You have a profile for him? No? The prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
The defense today is Miss Mia Fey, was it?
Yes, Your Honor, or defense. Did I say defendant or defense? I don't know. Yes, Your Honor. Is there a problem?
I was under the impression that Marvin Grossberg was to be leading the defense.
Yes, well, you see? Mr. Grossberg had a bit of an emergency.
An emergency? Isn't that him standing there right next to you?
He's right there. Yeah, yes, well...
You're just a rookie. Are you sure you can really handle this?
Don't let him scare you, Mia. Give him your toughest look. Of course, Your Honor. Wow, very tough. I think.
Well, Mr. Payne, your opening statement, please.
Well. I can't believe a veteran like me has to spend his time babysitting a new defense lawyer. Wow, what a veteran. Don't worry, little girl. It'll be all over soon. Maha. What was that all about? Was he trying to trash talk me? Now then, I'd like to proceed with a summary of events on the day in question. The incident occurred on the campus of Ivy University. The murder victim was a student named Doug Swallow. He was a fourth-year student studying pharmacology. Is it pharmacology? Pharmacology? I mean, something to do with pharmaceuticals, I guess.
It sounds like he was a very bright young man.
Yes, well, next we have a photo taken at the scene of the crime. He looks dead. Students discovered the scene shortly after the murder. They found the victim's body and the defendant, who had obviously bungled his getaway. They then called the police.
That certainly makes the defendant look very suspicious indeed. Very well. The court accepts this photo into the record as evidence. Crime photo. By the way, I can't quite tell the cause of death from this photo.
Your reputation for sagacity? I mean, like, for, like, being wise, I guess, is well earned, Your Honor. The truth is that this victim died a rather unusual death. An unusual death?
What do you mean, Mr. Payne?
Well, perhaps the defense would like to take this question? Huh? A simple question. I thought I might loosen you up a bit. I am a gentleman, if you will. Gentleman? What? Stand up to him, Mia. Show him what you're made of. Be tough.
Perfect opportunity. Well, what is it? The cause. Go on. Please say you know at least this much.
Oh, yes, this is like, I guess, yeah, it's kind of weird like this tutorial case again. But, yeah, we're just... It makes sense, actually, because we're playing as a rookie, you know, and in the Justice for All, Phoenix just had amnesia, but this time, we're playing as a different character, which is interesting. I'm so sorry, I didn't get a chance to read through the whole file.
Ooh, my hemorrhoids are beginning to act up. Hemorrhoids. Now see here. The details of the case are filed under the court record, just like the first two games. It's kind of weird I'm telling you all of this, even though you played assumedly you played the other two games already, but... You know, maybe I said before that maybe, you know, yeah, sometimes when you play video games, you kind of just skip through the trilogy, you know, sometimes you play the third game and they go back to the first game, so sometimes you want a tutorial in a separate game just in case that newcomers play, you know, a newer game in the series. Anyway, all the weapons can be found in the court record. Take a good hard look at data there and think carefully before you answer me, dear.
Yes, sir. I'll do just that. Okay, well, I think I remember, actually. But I need to double check. Cause of death was a fatal electric shock, which makes sense, I guess. Yeah, look at those power lines. Did it fall on him or something? I don't know. How did Phoenix do that? Did he, like, throw a knife and it cut the wires and it fell on him? I mean, that's a very interesting environmental kill, I guess. I've got to stay calm. I can't let that prosecutor get the better of me. The court record. Let's take a look. I just press tab and blah blah blah. Okay, I already did that though.
Now then, will the attorney for the defense please answer the question? What was the cause of death?
Hyperthermia? No. Electrocution. According to the court record, it was a fatal electric shock. In other words, electrocution.
Electrocution? But how could such a thing happen? Did the murderer use some type of new, super powerful stun gun, perhaps?
You know, coincidentally, we did get stunned by a stun gun in the first game. The answer to that will become crystal clear as this trial proceeds, Your Honor. But before that, there's one more vital issue.
What's that?
Why, motive, of course. Apparently, there was some bad blood between the victim and the defendant.
Bad blood? What do you mean?
Oopsie, I'm terribly sorry. You're the defense attorney, so you must know all about it. I shouldn't be stealing your spotlight like this. I really don't like this guy's smug attitude. Aren't all prosecutors smug? It seems that way.
That's Winston Payne for you. He's one smooth operative, if you catch my drift.
Really? He is? I don't know. He seemed pretty bad in the other games.
You don't call him the rookie killer for nothing, you know. Now then, let's hear from the defense. What was the source of the bad blood between the victim and the defendant? And this time, I would like to see some supporting evidence.
Evidence?
No need to get all worked up over this. As I said, all our new weapons can be found in the court record. Find evidence you need and then shove it into old Greybeard's face.
Yes, sir. Into old Greybeard's face.
Mr. Grossberg. Try to set a better example for the young lady. Mia, evidence isn't the only thing in the court record. People's profiles are as well. You can toggle between profiles and evidence with tabs, so be sure to go over the law. Even though I'm not using the keyboard, I'm using like a PS4 controller that I connected to my computer. Anyway, now then, let's see what you got. What was the cause of the bad blood between Phoenix Wright and the victim?
I mean, they were talking about a girl, right? I don't know, a little too much confidence, eh? I assume so. I mean, that's my guess. It makes sense. They were fighting because they were mentioning a girl, and I assume Dahlia the victim dug Swallow up into 8 months ago, so something to do with her, I guess. Oh, take that. You know, it's kind of interesting. Mia like has her own sprites, her own voice lines. You know, like, it's kind of a missed opportunity that she's, you know, dead by the first game. So I don't know if we're gonna play more of her later on, but we'll see, I guess. The reason for the bad blood between the two of them was this woman here. Dahlia Hawthorne, is it? Or Dahlia Hawthorne? Hawthorne? Very good, Miss Faye. You seem to have picked up on at least this much. This woman is the girlfriend of the defendant, Phoenix Wright. But up until about 8 months ago, she was with the victim, Mr. Swallow. Clearly, she has some part to play in this story. Am I doing the Winston Payne voice correctly? I can't remember. He sounds like Toad, right? From Super Mario. Like he goes like, objection! Objection! Like that.
He's done it again. Before the cross-examination starts, he's already got the judge thinking like he wants. Oh no. Very well, Mr. Payne. Please call your first witness.
If it pleases the court, the prosecution would like to call Mr. Phoenix Wright.
What? The defendant himself? Well, Miss Faye?
Oh, it's fine. After all, Mr. Wright is innocent, right? Can you use our Cyclops, you know, to make sure? We have our Magatama right there. I don't know if Mia had that power. Well, the defense has no objection.
Very well. The court calls Mr. Phoenix Wright to the witness stand.
Witness, please state your name and occupation. Oh, yes. My name is Phoenix Wright. My job is, well, right now I guess I'm a suspect. I'm gonna be a lawyer in the future, but not yet. Maybe this is part of the, you know, part of the inspiration why he became a lawyer.
No, he means what did you do before you were arrested?
Oh, achoo! I was a university student. Mr. Wright, you understand that you are suspected in the death of your fellow student, Doug's... But I didn't do it. I'm innocent, I tell you. I'm telling you I was. Ow! Achoo!
Would the defendant please refrain from passing on his code to the rest of us?
It seems the witness has something he wants to say.
Well then, Mr. Wright, please tell us about your relation to the victim.
Right away, Your Honor. Oh, new music. Cool. I admit I was there, but I'm not a killer. All I did was find his body. I hardly knew the guy to begin with. I never even talked to that stuck-up British wannabe. Oh, he's British? British, I guess. I don't know. Doug Swallow?
I see. So you hardly knew the victim.
Right, like I said, I'm not a killer. Phew, it looks like the judge understands.
You're being naive, you know? Too naive.
Huh? It seems that you forgot one small thing, young lady, as I play with my weird hair thing. What do you call that, actually? There's a name for that. You know, like, Japanese biker gangs tend to have that kind of hairstyle. Stereotypically, anyway. Anyway. And that would be... I'm forgetting something. What am I forgetting? This witness still has to undergo something called cross-examination. Cross-examination?
He's right, and it's the defense's duty to carry out the cross-examination. The purpose is to determine if the witness's testimony contains any contradictions.
Contradictions?
If a witness is lying, their statement will conflict with the court record.
But Mr. Wright is my client. Why am I cross-examining him?
Well, even if he is your client, in court all lies must be struck down. As a lawyer, that is your duty, you see.
Does that... I feel like that doesn't make any sense. I feel like in real life, it's the prosecution's, you know, duty to do that, to question the witness in that case. I don't know. Anyway. We can also just... I mean, as a lawyer, we can also just hide the truth and just, you know, pretend everything's alright. Anyway, what does he mean by that? Is he saying that testimony just now? That there was a lie? A contradiction?
Now then, your cross-examination if you please, Miss Faye.
Please, Mr. Wright, tell me if you haven't been lying. You wouldn't do that to me, would you? Maybe you would. This is before he became a lawyer, so maybe he would just lie his ass off. Hold it. When you say there, you mean the place where the victim was murdered? Yeah, sort of. The place where something happened anyway. Objection! Something? You can't hide what happened. We have photographic evidence. Achoo! Achoo! Anyway, Mr. Wright, what were you doing at the scene of the crime? I thought you said you didn't know the victim, Mr. Swallow. Why, it was just a coincidence. We bumped into each other by accident. A coincidence, hmm? Not a killer. You say you found the body. So, who called the police? Huh? Blah, 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 blah. Unfortunately, it was some other students that notified the police. Other students? That's correct. They were witnesses. Witnesses who saw the defendant standing there next to the body, in shock. Interesting.
What? This is true, Mr. Wright?
Could you stop sneezing every time you're in the bind? Well, it's true that I was pretty shocked when I found the body. But I... hardly knew the guy. So you didn't know his face, or even his name, right? Right, well, no. That is, I mean... So, which is it? Did you know him or not?
Now see here, you can't avoid answering the question by sneezing all day.
Well, I guess I did know his name. News to me? Why didn't he tell me that before? I heard he used to date Dolly.
Who's this Dolly person?
Ah yes, that would be the defense lover, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne.
Oh, I see. Ah, young love, so bittersweet.
But that's all I knew about him. Never even talk up to the stuck-up British wannabe. Mr. Wright, you stated the following in your testimony. I hardly knew the guy to begin with. That's right. I mean, why would I even... But that doesn't sound right. If you hardly knew him, then why would you say that the victim was a stuck-up British wannabe? Well, Mr. Wright? No, it wasn't me. I'm not a killer, I swear!
Mr. Wright, I will give you an opportunity to revise your testimony. How is it that you knew the victim was, as you put it, a British wannabe?
Yes, well... He was always walking around with a huge Union Jack on the back of his shirt. Union Jack? On the back of his shirt? I can't see a Union Jack. Did you see it at the crime scene? The Union Jack, I mean. Yes, that's right. I saw it at the crime scene. That's why I figured he must love British stuff, see? It's true, cross my heart. I swear to do it. He's acting fishier than the salmon I ate last night. Salmon, I like salmon.
May I ask you something, Miss Faye?
Yes, Your Honor? What is it now?
Who is this person anyway, this Union Jack fellow?
The Union Jack is the name of the United Kingdom's flag.
Oh, I see. So you mean like the Stars and Stripes, right?
As usual, Your Honor, your insight astounds me. Something occurred to me. Isn't there something strange about this bit just now?
Mia, there's a contradiction here.
Mr. Grossberg.
Quickly now, show that boy you mean business. With evidence, I mean.
Okay, Mia. Check the court record carefully.
Well, my dear, do you think you can manage on your own from this point?
Yeah. 1 year ago, I was in a courtroom just like this. I can do it. I can handle this myself.
You mustn't try to bite off more than you could chew, Mia.
I'll be fine. I know what I have to do.
Remember, you can always press him to get more information. And one more thing. When you're going to state a contradiction, make sure you present some definitive proof. Okay, yeah. One more time.
Interesting they mentioned Union Jack. I wonder in the Japanese original translation, was it like a different flag or something? Maybe he was American instead of British? I don't know. I mean, yeah, the Union Jack or some sort of like identifying symbol on his back, there's none. So I feel like you are lying, Naruhodo Ryuichi. Are you certain you saw the Union Jack? Yeah, I'm sure. It was right there on his back.
Miss Faye, is there some point to this line of questioning?
Well, Your Honor, please take another look at the crime scene photo. As you can see, there's absolutely nothing on the victim's back. Hey, wait a minute! He's wearing a leather jacket! The Union Jack was on the back of the t-shirt he was wearing. I was under the impression that you accidentally came across the body. But if that was really the case, then you wouldn't know that, would you? You would have no idea at all what he was wearing underneath that jacket. Mr. Wright, you've been lying to me. But please forgive me.
Mia, you've made our client cry.
Let him. That P on his chest doesn't stand for Phoenix anyway. I can't believe I trusted him. Mr. Wright was all wrong. Time to send him to jail. That was an impressive bit of cross-examination. Well, thank you for uncovering the defense lies for me. It's quite clear that this man did not simply stumble upon the scene of the crime. Uh-oh. Did I go too far? By the way, Mr. Wright, you seem to have a rather bad cold. Have you taken any medicine for it? Yeah, I took some, but... Was the medicine that you took an over-the-counter brand called Cold Killer X? Yeah, that's right. It kills colds good. Hey, wait a second. How did you know I'm a big fan of Cold Killer X? Would you happen to have that medicine with you right now? Well, actually, I seem to have lost it somewhere. He lost it. Does this have anything to do with the case? Mr. Wright, shall I tell you where your cold medicine is right now? Huh? Your Honor, I'd like you to take another look at the photo from the crime scene, or take a look at another photo, a different photo.
What's this? In the victim's hand, it's Cold Killer X.
Yes, but even I've got a bottle of Cold Killer X in my apartment. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid that argument won't work. There's no doubt as to who this bottle of Cold Killer X belongs to, especially since Mr. Wright's fingerprints are all over it. What? Sensing his murderous intent, Mr. Swallow must have picked up the bottle of medicine, dropped by Mr. Wright, and hid it in his hand. His purpose in doing so can only have been to identify his killer as Phoenix Wright. Wow. Would you have that much foresight as you die? I don't know. I wouldn't. I wouldn't think that far.
Order in the court.
Your Honor, I'd like to present this photo and bottle as evidence.
Very well. This court will now accept them into the record.
Clutched in the victim's hand with Wright's fingerprints. Oh no. Also, the victim's wristwatch was broken. Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Broken?
Yes, it ceased functioning when a large wave of electricity passed through it. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have some kind of explanation for all of this? Look at the photo, actually. Well, man, analog watches or clocks in general, I have trouble reading them, especially if they don't have numbers. But I guess this is the hours, so that's like around 9:35-ish? 9:35-ish? Or am I reading that right? I think so. I could be completely wrong. I think it's around 9:35. That says 3 p.m., right? Or am I reading that wrong? Can't tell. Is it the other way around, actually? Maybe it is the other way around. What was this? This is X12. That's 12, right? Roman numeral for 12. So actually, it's upside down. Oh, okay. I thought it was the other way around. So yeah, that makes sense. So this is like upside down, at least from our perspective, anyway. So that's 3. So 3:05-ish, I guess. Which makes sense. Yeah, around 3 o'clock. If you die around 3 o'clock, that makes sense. Okay. It's consistent with the facts. Phoenix is going, ugh. Oh, this is really bad. Oh, my buttocks. My poor hemorrhoids. Is that your gimmick? Your gimmick is that you have hemorrhoids? That's it? Okay. The truth is, I went because he called me. He was in the pharmacology department, so we agreed to meet at 2:45 behind that building. We talked for a bit, and then around 3 o'clock we split up. Later, when I went back, I found him lying there. I've been taking Cold Killer X for the last 2 or 3 days, but I lost my bottle of it around lunchtime on the day of the accident.
Mr. Wright, that's completely different from the testimony you gave previously.
Achoo! I'm sorry, Your Honor. I was afraid you wouldn't believe the truth. You'll forgive me if I say I hardly find your current testimony any more credible.
Miss Faye, please begin your cross-examination.
Please, Mr. Wright, don't tell any more lies. Why? Because they call me. Okay. Had you ever met the victim before then? No, never. But that day he called me up and told me he wanted to talk about Dolly.
And this Dolly person is...
it's kind of embarrassing. She's my, sweetheart.
What was that for me, huh?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I just felt like slapping something all of a sudden. You mean slap someone?
Dolly?
Dolly Hawthorne was also the lover of the murder victim, Doug Swallow. Before she met Mr. Wright, that is.
So it's one of those nasty love triangles, I see.
So was it Mr. Swallow who indicated you should meet at 2:45? Yeah, we were both there right on time.
You said the victim was in the pharmacology department, correct?
Yeah, he was studying how to manufacture and improve pharmaceuticals. Everyone called him the alchemist of IVU.
An alchemist, I see. A full metal alchemist, maybe? Equivalent exchange?
I gotta admit he was a little suspicious. He had a whole laboratory and everything. It was filled with chemicals and strange machines that run on high voltage electricity.
Oh, well, fascinating. He sounds like he was quite an ambitious young man.
What do I do? Maybe I should ask him for more details? So you're absolutely certain that you met at 2:45? Yeah, pretty sure. That's the time class ends. But they're always doing experiments, so it doesn't matter much. Experiments? Yeah, those pharmacology guys are always in the lab whipping something up. Well, it looks like he's right about the time anyway. Witness, let's go on. Okay. Okay, that's another question, but let's continue pressing. So what was it you were talking about? You know, that maybe we should hang out again sometime? Hang out again sometime? I wish that were true. So you say you went back? Yeah, that's when I found the body. Yes, but why did you go back in the first place? Weren't you angry with him? Well, that's right, I was. Then why, Mr. Wright? Why did you go back there? I thought maybe we could make up? Judging by the atmosphere, I'm pretty sure no one's buying this. I'd be taking cold for the last 2 or 3 days. It's rather unusual to catch a cold this time of the year, isn't it? Yeah, I always get a little careless when the weather starts to warm up. I guess I shouldn't sleep with the window open this early in spring, huh? I suppose common sense is not always common. So, did anyone else know that you were taking cold medicine? Well, I always took one after meals, so I'm pretty sure all my friends knew about it. Lost the bottle. On the day of the incident, what did you do for lunch? Huh? What does that have to do with anything? You can never be too sure. Well, I always eat with Dolly. Just the two of us. Dolly's homemade lunches are just the greatest. Bento lunches. Her mini omelets are magically delicious. Yo! Why did you punch me on the jaw? Oh, I'm so sorry. I just felt like hurting someone all of a sudden. I feel like Mia's jealous of, in general, you know. Or it might not be, maybe not jealous, but like, I don't know what the word is, but the fact that probably Mia's single, right? Anyway.
Well, Mia?
I don't know. I can't seem to find any contradictions.
The boy isn't exactly what I call a natural born liar, you know? But still, we can't have him continue to spout nonsense.
I know, but what can I do?
Well, I'm certain he must still be hiding something. Information. Right now, it's information we need more than anything else.
Okay, so let's see. Let's ask the second question, maybe? It was this one, right? Let's ask about the pharmacology department, maybe? Well, I was wondering if you could tell us a bit more about the pharmacology department. Well, okay, sure. I don't know all that much, though. A little bit earlier in your testimony, you said something interesting. You said that the department uses strange medicines that run on high-voltage electricity. And that's right. And they sure look dangerous. They use non-standard voltages, so there are high-voltage cables everywhere. High-voltage cables? Yeah, there were electrical poles set up all around the building. The high-voltage cables run overhead through around the roof. Finally, I think we're getting somewhere.
I think that's enough for now. So, the defendant and the victim met at approximately the time of his death. And then the defendant returned to the scene for some unknown reason.
I'm not entirely convinced by his explanation about the medicine bottle either.
Let me be frank here, Mr. Wright. Your testimony cannot be trusted.
What? What do you mean? I knew it was too much work for a little girl. Mia's not little.
However, there's one mystery that still remains.
There is, Your Honor.
How the murder was carried out, of course. Just how was the victim electrocuted? I don't believe the murder weapon has been produced yet, correct?
Well, that is, you are correct, Your Honor. So how exactly was Mr. Swallow killed? If I could somehow establish how it was done, maybe I could still come out of this mess smelling like a rose. Okay. Your Honor?
Yes, Miss Faye?
I believe that we were to piece together everything we've heard up until now. We should be able to solve the mystery of how Mr. Swallow died.
Smug Mia. That would be most impressive.
Quite the brash statement coming from a rookie. But even a beginner like you must understand the basic rules of the court, yes? An attorney must be able to substantiate their arguments with evidence. Of course I know that. Actually, I totally forgot about that.
Now then, Miss Faye, let me see what you've got. Show me how you believe the victim was electrocuted.
I mean, they had like power lines all near the department, right? The pharmacology department. And so you see he got electrocuted. Where is electricity near the crime scene? Is this thing, right? This power line right here. So I can only assume that's how he was killed, right? I mean, this is the tutorial case. It's supposed to be easy and obvious, so let's see. As for the cause of death, I'd say this picture captures it quite well.
What? but there's nothing that even remotely resembles a murder weapon here. I'm afraid the defense is going to have to explain this in a bit more detail. Miss Faye, where exactly in this photo is the murder weapon?
Right here. Right here. Right here. Hopefully I get the hitbox right. Well, naturally, it's right here.
That's... What is that?
A severed electrical cable, I believe, Your Honor. Remember the testimony we've heard. The machines the pharmacology students use in their experiments require high voltage. And because of that, there are special high voltage cables strung up everywhere.
So then, the high voltage cable.
Yes, the high voltage cable is the cause of death. That is the most likely explanation.
That certainly sounds plausible. Well, Mr. Payne, what do you have to say about this?
Well, I believe some praise is in order. Don't toy with me, old man. Now, the victim's cause of death may indeed have been a high voltage cable. However, I want you to think about what that really implies. The only one who had the opportunity to use the cable as a murder weapon was... the defendant.
That much is certainly true.
Yes, and that's not all. We have proof. Irrefutable proof that was established that Mr. Wright was the murderer.
You do? Well, what is it?
His fingerprints.
Fingerprints? You mean the defendant's fingerprints were on something besides the medicine bottle?
Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. As you can see, the victim is wearing a leather jacket, and as you may know, leather holds fingerprints quite well. You mean... Yes, it was quite clearly imprinted on the chest area of the victim's jacket. The palm print of the defendant's very old hand.
What?
I can only think of one way Mr. Wright could have left a print like that. Intent on murder, he squarely pushed the victim towards a severed electrical cable. Oh no.
Order, that's enough. I think we can conclude that there's no reason to continue this cross-examination. Just stick a fork in us and we're done.
Mr. Grossberg.
My hemorrhoids never lie. The show is over, Mira. I knew that boy was guilty the first time I saw him.
Oh. We have destroyed the timeline. Phoenix goes to jail and never becomes a lawyer. No, you're wrong. Mr. Wright is innocent.
No further evidence is required to convince me of this man's guilt.
Your Honor.
At this time, I am prepared to render a verdict in this case. Do you have something further to add, Miss Faye?
Is this what you want, Mr. Wright? You still haven't told us the truth, the whole truth. If you don't say something now, the judge is going to hand down his verdict. But I can't, I just can't say it. If I told you what really happened, then I'd be... It's okay, Mr. Wright. I'm your attorney. You can trust me. Miss Faye. Huh. Serious face. No matter what it is you have to say, I believe in you and I'll represent you to the very end. We've already established the defendant's guilt. There's no further need for him to say anything. Wait a minute. Mr. Wright. I'll tell you what really happened. But I've already told you, Mr. Wright, there's no need for further. I did it. I admit it, I pushed him. It's my fault. My fault that Doug Swallow was dead.
That girl, you shouldn't see her anymore.
Hey, it's none of your business.
I'm telling you for your sake. I don't know how to do a British accent. I assume he's British, right? He's gonna say it's me bad news. You're lying. Just listen to me. There's something you need to know about that girl.
Stop it! talk about her like that? Hiya! Palm smash! Blech.
What you just said, was that the truth?
Yes, I was afraid. Afraid that if I told the truth, everyone would think I was the murderer for sure.
Well, as things currently stand, we're all absolutely convinced you are.
Please give me one more chance to explain. This time I swear I'll tell the whole truth. It'll be okay, won't it, Miss Faye? I believe in you. Oh, thank you. I still can't believe it. You really did push the victim.
Feels like my hemorrhoids are doing the Harlem Shake.
Harlem Shake? When was this game made? That guy, he was talking bad about Dolly. Hiya! I lost my temper and gave him a shove. At that moment, I heard some kind of loud noise. Oops, I sneezed in real life. I caught the cold from Phoenix, oh no! Anyway, excuse me. A little while after I left, I started to get worried. So I went back, but he was just lying there, dead. Oh no. Well, the explanation is really quite simple. When you pushed him, Mr. Swallow flew back and touched the electrical cable. He died from the shock, and that, as they say, is that.
A simple explanation indeed.
At the time of the incident, a light rain had been falling. Wet from the rain, the victim was more easily electrocuted. But when I pushed him, there weren't any electrical cables nearby. If there had been something like that, even I would have noticed. And that's true. Even a doofus like him could have missed that.
Miss Faye. Let me warn you right now that if your cross-examination doesn't yield any new facts, I intend to deliver my verdict without further delay. Are we clear on that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Don't give up, Mia.
If he is innocent, there must be some kind of evidence somewhere that will prove it. So what kinds of things did Mr. Swallow say to you? He said all sorts of terrible things about Dolly. He said that she was a bad girl.
Is that all?
Yep.
Well, Miss Faye, you heard him yourself.
Oh boy, you're not doing yourself any favors here, Mr. Wright. Please don't make this harder for me than it already is. Anyway, after he said that, I lost my temper, gave him a shove. Can you tell me about what happened in a little more detail? That guy, he just said what he wanted to say to me. And then he put on the jacket he was holding and started to leave. That's when I lost my temper and flew into a furious frenzy. I just gave him a light, gentle shove to the chest. Very light and very gentle, I guess. And when you did that, there was no severed cable anywhere to be seen. Right, there's nothing like that at all. But it is possible that you merely overlooked it. Well, I guess it's possible. What are you doing? Don't let that guy steamroll over you like cheap asphalt. steamroll over you like cheap asphalt.
I believe what's important here is the moment that the push occurred. Let's continue on.
A loud noise. What would you say that loud noise was, Mr. Wright? I'm not sure, but it was really loud. It was like snap. You know, come to think of it, I wonder what that was. Clearly, Your Honor, it was a sound of the victim being electrocuted. You're not qualified to decide that. What should I do? I'm treading on some dangerous ground here. Mr. Wright, that loud noise you heard may be extremely important, so try to remember what it was. How do I put it? It was like a sharp crack. Could have been... Yes? Could have been what? Hurry up and tell us. When I pushed him, he dropped the umbrella he was holding. He fell right on top of it and it broke. That was probably the noise I heard.
An umbrella, huh? And did the umbrella belong to the victim?
Yeah, it was a plastic umbrella, cheap and frail, kind of like the owner. Then again, I wish I had any kind of umbrella. I was totally soaked to the bone.
Miss Faye, what do you think? Is there something important in that testimony just now?
Well... There's a loud snap. I mean, that's what we saw, right? That's the umbrella right there. And if that's the case, then he should be on top of the umbrella, right? Why is the umbrella somewhere else? This is it, Mia. The new information you've been waiting for. Of course it's important. No, this cheap umbrella is more than important. It's vital. I want to officially have it entered into the testimony. How perfectly fitting. Flimsy information for a flimsy lawyer.
The court agrees to the defense's request. Witness, please add the bit about the cheap umbrella to your testimony.
After I shoved him, he fell down on top of his cheap umbrella. So Mr. Swallow fell on top of his umbrella, and you are certain of this? Yeah, it was right there under him. Actually, if it had been under him, I was planning on borrowing it for myself. The umbrella, you mean? Well, yeah, you see I was wearing this sweater here. Dolly stayed up late for nights at a time knitting it for me. I didn't want the rain to dampen the handmade symbol of her love. My stomach is not to be used as your personal soccer ball, Mia. If he's slapped, he's been punched, and he's been roundhouse kicked in the stomach. I'm so sorry.
Continue with your testimony.
Okay. I started to get worried. After you shoved the victim, did you leave the scene right away? Yes, I did. I admit it. I was furious. You left without even checking Mr. Swallow's condition. Well, yeah. But like I said, I got worried about him later. So I went back, but he was just lying there dead. At that time, did you see anyone else at the scene of the crime? Nope. No, nobody. Okay. Jeez, could that stupid cough possibly sound any phonier?
In that case, it's very hard to believe someone else could have been the murderer. Unless we can find something that shows his innocence from that testimony, my dear, I'm afraid the judge will make his final decision with no remorse whatsoever.
Yes, sir. For now, I need more info. Info that will help me, and give me more testimony, and then I can use it to show that there's a contradiction. Fell on top of his cheap umbrella. Yeah, I think this is what we need to present evidence on, because if he fell on his cheap umbrella, I mean, it's broken here, but it should be, you know, under him, not somewhere else on the road there, or pathway anyway. So I think this is the contradiction we need to point out. Why did you testify about the umbrella from the very beginning? Come on, if I had mentioned that, I would have been able to counter the prosecution's arguments earlier. What do you mean by that? Take another look at the crime scene photo. According to Mr. Wright, the victim fell on top of his umbrella. However, if you look closely, the umbrella is nowhere near the victim. Actually, it's by the electrical pole.
You're absolutely right.
The conclusion here is obvious. After the defendant left, the victim moved from where he fell. In other words, after he was pushed by the defendant, Mr. Swallow was still alive. No!
Order, order, order. The victim, he moved. Mr. Payne, the umbrella in this photo, where is it now?
Well, it was collected by the police at the crime scene. Oh yeah, Pompadour. Yeah, that's what it's called. His little sweaty pompadour. Anyway, I just remembered what that was called. I was calling it a crime scene. I wanted it presented as evidence immediately. Umbrella found near the electrical pole. But the umbrella could have simply been blown there by the wind. According to the testimony, the victim fell on top of the umbrella. There's simply no way it could have been blown there by the wind. No, but I know this matter of the umbrella seems relatively trivial, but as long as the smallest doubt remains, I cannot render final judgment. No! I must say, I still find it hard to believe that a huge hole has been blown in the prosecution's case by the defendant's testimony. The victim fell on top of this umbrella. There was a loud sound when this happened. Well done, Mia. Mr. Payne, what are you chuckling about? Pardon me, Your Honor. It seems I was expecting too much of a free ride. It was foolish to think I could establish guilt through cross-examination alone. I'm afraid I don't follow what you're saying. Let me guess. You have another witness. Exactly, and this witness's testimony will be incontrovertible. Incontrovertible? Is that a word? I guess it is. I mean, I guess it's like, you know, impervious. You know, testimony is there's no contradictions in the testimony. I assume that's what that word means. Anyway, well, who is this witness? Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. Dahlia Hawthorne? You don't mean Dolly? I do, Your Honor. The defendant's very own lover is a witness to the whole thing. That's right. She was at the scene of the crime when the murder took place. What? I'm sorry to break the bad news to you, my dear. Bad news. You couldn't be more wrong. Actually, I've been waiting for this. You can't be serious.
Mia, what do you mean by that? I think this is a good point for us to stop at. Court will now enter a 20-minute recess. Afterwards, we will listen to the testimony of Miss Dahlia Hawthorne.
We were waiting for this, eh?